By 2035, the global population will be nearly 9 billion. How will we feed all those people? How much land will we need for food, and what exactly are we going to eat? As we get richer, our diets change. We don't want more bread and rice. We want more meats, fruits, nuts, and more vegetables. The challenge for agriculture is not just to produce more food, but to produce the mix of food that society will demand. The great news is this provides investment opportunities. For 40 years, LMC has analysed the world's major agricultural business sectors. Using our expertise, we've developed a global crop model, a unique and interactive tool to identify investment opportunities for the world's agricultural business sectors.
Forecasts of land area needed to feed the world's growing population often produce jaw-dropping results, tens of millions of additional hectares. But a common problem with these estimates is they assume that as we get richer, we eat more of everything. This isn't how our diets evolve. The reality is, as we get richer, we change the types of food we eat. So how does our model work? Not only do we take account of how total calorie consumption evolves, but we also consider which foods we will eat more of and which we will eat less of. We do this for more than 100 countries to ensure that we capture the complexity of different diets across the globe. So when we know how much of each type of food we will consume, we can then ask other questions, such as, how much land will be required to produce this food? Which crops will expand and which will contract? And where in the world will these changes happen? To answer these questions, we use the concept of agricultural frontiers. These are areas where growth and demand for food can be met. This doesn't just mean developing new land. It can mean yield growth, harvesting more crops from the same area of land, double cropping, when farmers grow 2 or even 3 crops in 1 year in the same field, changing meat preferences. Globally, we're eating a lot more poultry and fish. These are much more efficient than cows and pigs at converting feed into meat. And finally, there are the frontiers that most people think of. Land at the margins of existing cultivation that might be pushed back, expanding arable land.
A comprehensive dashboard presents all of our forecasts for demand and supply by country and by crop, yields and area. Let's take China for example. China is going to need more food. As we get richer, we consume more calories, but the composition of our diets change. Share of carbs decrease, while the share of meat, dairy and vegetables increase. What does this mean for China? Here's China today. By 2035, it'll eat more protein and less carbs. What happens if China's economy grows more quickly? This results in a faster increase in total calorie consumption and a faster switching away from carbs. Quickly reset our GDP assumptions? The model allows us to investigate which crops are going to be used in which end uses. We forecast China to increase maize usage for biofuels by 64 million tons. What happens if China puts a mandate on E10? We see this results in a 104,000 ton increase of maize use for ethanol. On a global scale, we'll need about 280 million tons of extra meat. You can see the demand change from 530 million to 780 million tons. So how are they going to meet supply? Each ton of meat requires different tonnages of feed and different volumes of maize, depending on the animal. Our estimates show world maize area will need to expand by over 20 million hectares. The largest part of this will come from Brazil, where our model projects an expansion of over 5 million hectares planted for maize. Very importantly, most of this additional maize will be grown on the same land that will be used for soybeans. This is an excellent example of how double cropping will moderate demand for new land.